my loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how I reversed or managed my PCOS after years of being misdiagnosed and then diagnosed. It's very sad how girls are just prescribed birth control from their doctors without looking into their lifestyle, into their blood sugar, into their other hormones as well. When I went to the gynecologist and she looked with ultrasound inside, and she saw that I have a polycystic ovaries, and she just said, okay, now you need to take birth control pills. She didn't ask me how you're eating. She didn't ask me to make a blood sugar test to see what's happening inside of me. She just said, okay, now you need to get birth control pills. And on top of this, you know that I have hypothyroidism, and she didn't ask me if I have problems with my thyroid and etc., because those things are connected. And I was just sitting like this, looking at her, nodding. When I asked her, okay, but what am I doing? I have problems with my thyroid. Aren't those things connected? And she said, no, you talk with your endocrinologist about those things. You see, gynecologists, they stop only to PCOS because they check you with the ultrasound. They see that you have polycystic ovaries and they don't ask you about the other things. That's why it's very important to work not only with gynecologists, endocrinologists, and do your research as well. When she said that I need to take a birth control pill, in my mind I was like, leave me alone, I'll do everything myself. Usually I'm this kind of a person, like I'll do everything myself kind of person. And I just said, okay, leave me alone, I'm going to do everything and then I'm gonna come back to you. And to be honest, I was not stressing at all. I didn't take it so serious because I know that everything in life can be fixed. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna fix it. I'm not gonna cry here in the chair in the clinic. I'm not gonna panic myself. I just know that everything is fixable. You just need to do something about it. You just need to put a little bit of effort into those things, because girls always ask, how did you do this? How did you do that? But they never research for themselves. They want it easy. They want for you just to tell them, like this, I did it, and then they're going to do the same. But not everything is one size fits all. When you ask me, okay, your portions this, your portions that, what are you doing, how many times a week you're training, not everything is one size fits all. Do you understand me? You need to find your sweet spot about portions, about how to manage your PCOS. You can remember everything. You can put everything into matter. You can do everything that I say here. Some things are going to work for you. Some things are not going to work for you, because every person is different. And if something doesn't work for you, don't come here and blame me. No, go out there, research, experiment, and find your sweet spot. This is how I did it for myself. Nobody there told me how to do it. I was reading books. If you know, I have around 50 books about health behind my back. I was watching podcasts. I was listening to other girls' experiences, and I was absorbing the information that they are giving. As I have said in my previous video where I explain about my hypothyroidism, my grandma and my mom, they have a very holistic approach, and I was not so stressed about my PCOS because I am educated in hormones, pathways, lifestyle, nutrition, and having women that are not stressing you and helping you like my grandma and my mom is very important. But if you're alone in this, you're not alone. I'm here. I'm always going to be here to answer your messages. Sometimes I feel very overwhelmed from all of your problems, you know, and that I'm helping everybody that is texting me. But I think I am here in this life not only to live my life, but to help other girls. So if you don't have anybody or somebody like this into your life to help you, a mother or a grandma figure, I'm always here to help you with whatever I can, because I'm not a superhuman and I cannot help you with everything, but I can help you with my knowledge, my experience, and etc. As I was saying, I was not stressed because I already had some education behind my back because of my hypothyroidism. And I was like, okay, I'm going to research a little bit. I started looking and reading about PCOS and all the connection that it has with estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, insulin, cortisol, and nutrition, because as we know, food is medicine. So the reason why so many girls nowadays have PCOS is really unknown, but it's connected to so many things. Like it can be genetics, but it can be combination of several things like hormonal imbalance, higher androgens, which is the male hormones in a female body, insulin resistance, and lifestyle factors. And PCOS is a term that covers a lot of different symptoms caused by higher testosterone or higher insulin levels. And testosterone is an amazing hormone. Yes, it's a male hormone in a female body, but balanced testosterone is an amazing hormone. But high levels create symptoms like stubborn fat around the belly, the thighs, breakouts, thinning hair, irregular cycles, and it often goes to insulin dysregulation too. The first thing that I learned about PCOS when I was diagnosed is that it's not only about the ovaries, but it's deeply linked to insulin. When your cells stop responding properly to insulin, your body needs to start making more insulin to keep your blood sugar stable, and this is called insulin resistance. Over the time, this hyperinsulinemia triggers the ovaries to make more testosterone. I really thought that insulin is only about sugar, but it is really the hormone that decides whether or not you're into storage mode or balance mode. But let me actually explain the path of why we can have high testosterone and develop PCOS. Having high insulin in a female body tells your ovaries to produce more testosterone. And insulin also lowers sex hormone binding globulin, which is increasing the free androgens. When we have too much testosterone compared to our other sex female hormones, it causes a hormonal imbalance. And this is a core driver of PCOS and ovarian dysfunction, which can lead to the characteristic appearance of multiple small follicles in your ovaries, which is not necessarily a cyst. Most of the time, high insulin levels are linked to PCOS, but this is not always the case. And that's why you should always check your levels to see if this is the reason that your body makes more testosterone. If insulin is the main cause of your PCOS, you can often improve or reverse the symptoms. And if you're told to go on the pill, that's because the pill provides female sex hormones that suppress ovulation and lower ovarian androgens, which at the end can balance your high testosterone symptoms. But here is the catch. The pill fixes all those symptoms that you're getting, like breaking out, gaining a little bit of weight, and etc. But it doesn't fix the main problem, which is high insulin levels and all of the other drivers that got you to have a PCOS. It just fixes the symptoms. It doesn't fix the problem. When you come off the pill and you still have the same lifestyle that caused you to have PCOS, you're still going to have high insulin levels and high testosterone levels. That's why or you go to the pill and you fix your lifestyle meanwhile, while you fix the symptoms and you fix the problem, and then you get off the pill, or you just don't go to the pill and just fix your lifestyle problems. When my insulin was constantly spiking from constant restriction and then binging and then all those sugary snacks on an empty stomach, or all those oat milk lattes on an empty stomach, and from doing all those things, my hormones were constantly confused. Once I started stabilizing my blood sugar, I felt that my body was finally working with me, not against me. But as I have said in my previous video about how I manage my hypothyroidism and about how I got it, remember that hypothyroidism can mimic PCOS symptoms or polycystic ovaries on the ultrasound. That's why it's very important for you to make some blood tests to clear out if you have hypothyroidism and this hypothyroidism is mimicking PCOS, or you have hypothyroidism and PCOS, because hypothyroidism increases TRH and this can raise your prolactin. And as we said, this can even produce polycystic appearing ovaries. They are not polycystic ovaries, they're just appearing because of the prolactin and because of the rise of free androgens. So thyroid diseases should always be cured before labeling PCOS. That's why it's essential to check some labs when clarifying your diagnosis, and I have them on my phone because I do it every 6 months. I'm going to read them to you, but don't worry because I know it's hard to remember them. I'm going to put them in the caption of this video. So first we have androgens, total and free testosterone, DHEA-S and SHBG. So everything is going to be put in the caption, don't worry. Then we have gonadotropins, which is your LH and FSH. Then we have the thyroid hormones, which are TSH, free T4, free T3, prolactin. Then we have 17-OH progesterone, and of course cortisol. And then we have metabolic and inflammatory tests like fasting insulin or glucose, lipid panel, and all of those things. You can read them in the caption. But you see, you need to do so many lab tests to find out what's wrong with you. Yes, you can have the symptoms. Yes, you can see some things in the internet. But if you don't do those lab works, you don't know anything about what's happening here. You cannot just guess and say, oh, I have PCOS, oh, I have hypothyroidism. No, go and do your lab test and then come and say, okay, I have this and this. Your gynecologist that saw on the ultrasound follicles and is going to say, okay, you have PCOS, they're never going to ask you to do those lab tests. So that's why it's very important to take the matter into your hands, research. If you think that you have symptoms of PCOS or hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, like problems with your thyroid, I want you to go and to do your lab test and then see what's wrong with you, if something is wrong, and fix it. And my motto since I was diagnosed with PCOS is balanced blood sugar, balanced PCOS. When I stopped chasing perfect and I started focusing on my blood sugar, everything got better, not only for my PCOS, but for my thyroid too, because the thyroid hormones influence the body's metabolism and how it uses the glucose. And thyroid dysfunction can lead to insulin resistance too. Specifically, hyperthyroidism can increase the glucose intake, while both hyper and hypo are linked to insulin resistance. So as you can see, managing my blood sugar was and is my #1 priority for me. And I think that not only girls that have diseases like this should focus on their blood sugar, because if 15 years old me that was eating a whole full package of chocolate candies knew all of this that I know now, I was going to prevent all of the headache and all of the pain. That's why it's very important for girls that don't have those problems like PCOS and hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. It's very important for them to manage their blood sugar too and include all those little tips that I'm going to give later for blood sugar management to prevent diseases like this in the future, let alone diabetes too. So here are my hacks, rules, tricks, call them whatever you want, for blood sugar that help me manage my PCOS that I do on a daily basis. So always a savory breakfast, or because I'm a sweet breakfast person, I always eat a handful of nuts, specifically almonds, or a spoon of skyr or Greek yogurt, and then the sweet breakfast. Protein plus fat equals a gentle glucose rise. And actually, if you know me, you know that one of my favorite PCOS sweet breakfast is 2 tepos, oatmeal, skyr, cinnamon, and honey, and almond tahini. It's sweet, but it's paired with protein, with fiber, with healthy fats, and all of this flattens the glucose spike. And healthy fats are even shown in studies to lower your blood sugar. #2, sweets are only desserts. They are not whole meals if they're not handled strategically, as we just talked. When I eat something sweet like a cake, cheesecake, cinnamon roll, or etc., I always have it after a full, balanced, nourishing meal. And my go-to snack, sweet snack that don't spike your blood sugar that much, are dates. But those dates are going to be stuffed with almond tahini and a little bit of honey. And all of those refined sugar-free desserts that I always share that are paired with healthy fats, complex carbs, protein are my go-to PCOS-friendly and blood sugar-friendly, as we said, healthy snacks, healthy desserts, whatever you want to call them. If you have a sweet tooth like me, please don't restrict. Just find your sweet spot of those refined sugar-free and balanced sweet snacks that I share with healthy fats, protein, and fiber. Because restriction is the worst choice. You're fighting and trying to balance so many things when you have PCOS, so don't cut the sweets, just be smart about them. I never ever eat naked carbs like pizza, pasta, bread, rice, french fries, and things like this. I always pair them with healthy fats, protein, or fiber. For example, I eat a small salad, like a little bit of lettuce or a handful of nuts before that. While eating pasta or pizza at home, if I do it or if we order, it's easy because I have my almonds here, I have all of my nuts here, I have a little bit of veggies, carrots, and things like this. I can snack at home. When going on a restaurant, for example, I always ask the waiter if I can order like a side small salad, like it's basically only lettuce and olive oil. I just eat a little bit before that, and then I enjoy the pasta, pizza, and etc. When I was on a vacation in Sicily this year during the summer, I walked with a little plastic bag with almonds inside my handbag, and always when we went to a restaurant I just ate 2, 3, 5 almonds and then I enjoyed my pasta or pizza. Glamorous, effective, smart, and obsessed with health, not the scale. And number 4 of my tips, I always repeat it and I'm always going to preach it: walking, walking, and walking. I always walk after I eat naked carbs like pasta and pizza that I'm sure that are going to spike my blood sugar for like 10 to 15 minutes. Even at home, after eating pasta, after making pasta, I am on the treadmill for 10-15 minutes while watching a movie with my boyfriend, and then I go back to relax. But my blood sugar is my number 1 top priority, and I walk not to burn off the pasta but to balance my blood sugar. And it's very important for digestion, inflammation when you have PCOS, just because it's the easiest insulin hack on earth. When I did all of those small things consistently, my insulin calmed, my cycle became steadier and more frequent, I didn't have missing periods anymore, and I felt that my body was finally on my side. If PCOS has taught me anything, is that doing less is doing more here, and your workouts should lower stress hormones, not spike them. When I was forcing HIIT and long, breathless cardio, weightlifting, and etc., my cortisol was always high, and high cortisol pushes blood sugar up and insulin follows, and that metabolic chaos tells your ovaries to make more androgens, and in translation, more cravings, more breakouts, more inflammation, more puffiness, more stubborn fat, and irregular cycles. The day that I swapped harder for calmer, my body finally started changing for better. Here's the science in a soft feminine language. PCOS is ultra sensitive to stress, and HIIT floats you with adrenaline and cortisol. Remember that it's great for short performance HIIT, but not great for a nervous system that needs safety to signal to your body to ovulate. Walking, on the other hand, is like a metabolic goat. It clears glucose from your bloodstream without demanding more cortisol. It improves the insulin sensitivity in your muscles and it reduces inflammation. 10 to 15 minutes after every meal is like a secret switch. Your blood sugar curve flattens, your energy stays even, and your appetite becomes quieter. Do this 2-3 times a day and you have already done more for your PCOS than an hour of punishment cardio. Strength training for your muscles matter, of course, a lot, but keep it feminine. Think like controlled and short sessions, pilates or weights where you breathe and feel the muscle. Don't punish and get out of your breath. And it's very important to stop when you start feeling that you're pushing it too much. Here it is. Do the strength for the muscle, for your growth hormone, do all of those things. But the moment that you start feeling that you're pushing it too much, this is not when results come. This is when you destroy the results. And this kind of training builds insulin sensitive tissue, because muscle is your best glucose sponge. If you love to sweat or do a little bit of harder workouts, place those harder sweaty workouts in your follicular phase, because during your follicular and ovulatory phase, when it's estrogen dominance, your estrogen supports recovery and helps you with your energy during those strong, harder workout sessions. And when you're sweating, you're detoxing estrogen, which is very important. So harder workouts are perfect for your follicular and your ovulatory phase, but during your luteal and menstrual phase, it's your repair, nourishing, warm, cozy, nesting time. So only walking, stretching, yoga, mat pilates at home, 10-15 minutes, that's it. And that's not laziness, that's psycho-intelligence. Doing less is not doing nothing, because sometimes it actually does more for your hormones. A normal day for me looks like this now. I walk 1-2 hours a day, and if I eat a blood sugar enemy meal, I'm going to walk 10 to 15 minutes after this. A focused 20-30 minutes of a pilates mat workout at home or a reformer session, and this is maybe 2, 3 to 4 times a week. And when I started actually doing less and not punishing my body, then I started seeing amazing results with my body, inflammation, and hormones. So doing less is doing more. And I do a lot of casual movement, like stairs, because we don't have elevator in our building. I clean a lot. I'm literally a clean freak. I am Monica from Friends, and this helps me a lot because I'm cleaning every day. Like, I'm polishing the house every day, and my Aura ring shows this a lot. When your training sessions signal to your body you're safe, insulin calms down, testosterone stops shouting, and your feminine hormones just have space to shine again. So no, you don't need to crush yourself to earn your food or to punish yourself to feel and look good. My answer to this is just walk more often. I don't know how many times I have told you this and how many times I repeat myself, but walking is the best thing for losing weight and for your hormones. It's the best fat burning, de-bloating, blood sugar tool ever. Let your workouts regulate your hormones instead of fighting them. Now I want to talk a little bit more about eating disorder and PCOS, because if food has felt like a battle, you're not broken. PCOS makes hunger, cravings, and body image louder, and diet culture tells you to fight harder when you should not fight harder, and that fight is exactly what kept me stuck. The more I restricted, the more my cortisol climbed. The more my cortisol climbed, the messier my insulin got. And the messier my insulin got, the louder my PCOS symptoms got too. It wasn't a self-control problem at all, because I'm a very disciplined person. It was a biology problem. What finally softened everything for me was choosing pleasure over punishment. I started eating full, satisfying meals on a rhythm, not nibbling or snacking all day or switching between diet and oh no, I blew it. I stopped chasing the scale and I started chasing health and signals. Signals like fullness, hunger cues, steady energy, and a calm stomach. When I allowed real foods like complex carbs, healthy fats, and protein, my cortisol dropped, my blood sugar curve flattened, and this binge restrictive cycle just stopped. Everybody that tells you you need to cut carbs to heal PCOS, tell them goodbye, because this is where eating disorder starts. And on top of this, cutting carbs in your luteal phase can spike your insulin as much as a piece of cake can. So this high insulin, especially in your luteal phase, is going to tank your progesterone, and you can say goodbye to your period even. And here you go, the insulin spike that you have worked so hard by cutting carbs to avoid came back just because you cut carbs, and because cortisol can spike your insulin, as we said, as much as a piece of cake can. So you were doing exactly the opposite. The idea is not to cut carbs, it's just to manage your blood sugar. So eat the carbs, just eat the smart, slow, complex carbs, and be smart about the naked carbs. Pair them, time them, everything that we've talked about. And please stop comparing your plate to strangers on the internet, even with me. When I upload what I eat in a day, don't compare. What I eat in a day is a moment in somebody else's metabolism, hormones, stress, and lifestyle choices. Even sleep and genetics influence those things. PCOS is not one size fits all, because two women may need the opposite things to feel and look good. Your job isn't to copy, it's to see and try and observe and see what works for you. Notice which breakfast keeps you steady till lunch. Notice how you feel after you walk after dinner. Notice which phase you need more carbs because your luteal phase is asking for more glucose. And that's not indulgence, that's intelligence. First, I want you to skip all those dramatic cuts. A big calorie deficit may feel like a danger to your body, and PCOS reads danger as cortisol, insulin, and cravings. What actually works is a small, steady nudge every day. Think like just a little less consistently, and not I'm starving. For me, this looks like stopping at 80-90% full, choosing whole foods, eating dinner a little bit earlier, and letting the results come week by week, not from today to tomorrow. I want you to keep your meals simple and predictable. 2 or 3 real meals a day, not constant grazing, constant snacking during the whole day. I want you to put protein, a little bit of protein on every plate, just enough to make you feel full and satisfied. I don't want you to be like, oh no, I need to reach my 120 grams protein goal. No, actually 120 grams of protein for some women in every phase, it's actually not good. So don't think, oh, I need to reach my protein goal. Just a little bit of protein, just to make you feel satisfied and full. Add healthy fats and fiber, then bring the complex carbs last. If you want something sweet, make it a dessert after a real meal, or just pair it with healthy fats or protein as we talk. Because even the order you eat in matters. Veggies first, protein and healthy fats after this, and then the carbs. It's really boring, but in the best way, because your blood sugar stays calm and your appetite just stops shouting. Little routines like this really make a big difference. Sleep 8 to 9 hours. Have a coffee after breakfast, not on an empty stomach. In your luteal phase, keep complex carbs so you don't push your cortisol up, and end up riding in the kitchen all night. Most nights, a gentle 12 to 14-15 hours fast is just enough. If a meal is going to be carby, start a little bit with olive oil or a little bit of protein. Then I want you to walk. That's the whole trick. So easy to remember and so easy to put into action. Set normal expectations. With PCOS, I want you to aim for slow weight loss, not internet overnight how to lose 10 kilograms in 1 week. If things stall, don't slash calories. Add a couple of thousands of steps. Trim portions slightly. Remember, if you're doing those little blood sugar management tips that we talked about, and just give it 2 more weeks and you're going to see results. Most of all, I stay kind and consistent because PCOS doesn't respond well to chaos. It responds to safety and to rhythm. Chase health and let your feminine biology take care of itself. Now let's talk about fasting and PCOS, because I'm going to lie if I say that fasting didn't help me through my journey. Fasting really helped me insulin wise and losing weight wise. The goal is to lower insulin gently so androgens quiet down and ovulation normalizes. Fasting is a tool, not a fight, so I'm going to share how I did fasting PCOS friendly so you can get all the benefits of fasting while not disturbing your PCOS symptoms. Most days I keep an overnight fast, like 13 to 14 hours, so I eat my last meal at 8 o'clock at night, and then around 9 o'clock in the morning I eat my breakfast. Longer fasts belong to estrogen time, not progesterone time. I want you to break the fast smart, because how you break the fast matters as well as the fasting period. So fats, healthy fats, protein, fiber, and prebiotics, and of course walk 10-15 minutes after your meal. For example, what I eat to break a little bit of a longer fast is Greek yogurt or skyr with chia seeds, a little bit of almond tahini and honey on top, with a little bit of berries. Another example is sourdough bread with avocado and eggs. And another example is, if you break your fast during lunch, is like salmon with a little bit of salad and quinoa or sweet potato. So here is how PCOS friendly cycle synced fasting is going to look like. During your menstrual phase, no fasting, gentle overnight fast, 12 to 13 hours. During your follicular phase is the best time for autophagy. So fasting for like 15-17 hours, several days per week. Or if you feel strong, add one gut reset fast, which is 24 hours, like dinner to dinner or lunch to lunch. And while we're talking right now, I'm in my follicular phase and I'm doing a 24-hour fast from lunch to lunch. So I had lunch earlier today. Now it's 3:30 and tomorrow at lunch I'm going to eat again. During your luteal phase, it's the same like your menstrual phase. No extended fasting, no long hours. 12, 13, 14 hours is the maximum. So remember it like this: when hormones are low during menstrual phase and when progesterone is high during your luteal phase, no fasting. When estrogen is high during your follicular and ovulatory phase, then a little bit longer fasting hours. And what you can drink while fasting is mineral water and teas, whatever teas you like, just not to be sweetened, no honey and things like this. I don't advise you or suggest to drink coffee on an empty stomach. You know my opinion on it. Cortisol goes up, insulin goes up, so no coffee on an empty stomach. While we're talking about fasting, I want to say that extended fasting periods are not for pregnant women, are not for nursing women, are not for people that have eating disorders, and for people that are underweight or have uncontrolled thyroid issues. And last but not least, in the beginning of the year, I started taking Mila supplement, which helped me significantly to be where I am right now. And if you don't know Mila, she's an amazing girl that went through a lot to find the perfect blend that helped her with her PCOS and hypothyroidism, and today she helps so many girls with this. We share a very similar story with her, and I cannot be more happy to tell you that we're partnering with Mila, and you can use my code for percentage off. All of this that I went through made me appreciate more health, and I stopped chasing the wrong things like the scale, calories in, calories out. All of this made me chase health, and all of this needs to become permanent. All this that I said in today's video is how I manage my PCOS and how I live with a long-term hypothyroidism too. And of course, this is how I lost weight safely with PCOS and hypo, by doing less, now pushing harder, low intense workouts and walking, managing my blood sugar, not jumping into intense calorie deficit, slightly, consistently lowering my food intake, nothing intense. So my loves, I really hope that all of those things that I said in today's video are somehow helpful to you, and take them into consideration. try some things, find your sweet spot, because as we said, nothing is one size fits all. Try, experiment, and this is how you find success. You cannot find success right away, but rather try, experiment, fail, learn. Failure is necessary for long-term success. Doesn't matter the aspect, if it's a business, if it's a health and things like this, doesn't matter the aspect. Don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid if you don't fail and don't learn your lessons. So as you know, if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them during the comment section in this video, or if you text me on private. I may not answer right away, but I'm always going to answer. I love you, I hug you, and I wish you all the best. Bye!